Tae's hands sliding lower, making Jungkook arch against him with a desperate. Jungkook's mind was spinning, his body on fire as Tae's touch drove him to the edge. He couldn't think, couldn't breathe. He was consumed by Tae's dominance, his overwhelming presence, and the deep desire that had taken hold of him. His hands instinctively reached for Tae, wanting to hold on to him. But Tae quickly grabbed his wrists, pinning them once more above his head. "No. You don't get to touch me until I say so. You'll take what I give you, and you'll love every second of it." Tae's voice was firm, commanding. Jungkook's whimper of submission only fueled Tae further, his dominance now undeniable as he moved against Jungkook with deliberate, calculated intent. Every movement, every touch was a reminder of the control Tae had over him, and Jungkook was powerless to resist. Tae's lips found their way back to Jungkook's neck, his teeth grazing the skin as he left more marks, each one a symbol of his possession. Jungkook filled the room, his body trembling with the intensity of the connection, the need for Tae overwhelming him completely. "Happy, please." Jungkook's voice was barely a whisper, broken and breathless as he is on the edge of pleasure, his body begging for release. Tae smirked, satisfied by the desperation in Jungkook's voice. He leaned down, his lips brushing Jungkook's ear as he whispered, "Only because you've been good for me, baby boy." With those words, Tae gave Jungkook exactly what he craved. His touch became more demanding, his movements more urgent as he pushed Jungkook over the edge, making him cry out in ecstasy. The pleasure hit him like a wave, crashing over him, leaving him breathless and trembling beneath Tae's relentless touch. Jungkook's world spun, his body trembling in the aftermath as he lay beneath Tae, completely spent. His chest heaved with the effort of catching his breath, his mind still reeling from the intensity of what had just happened. Tae, satisfied and still in control, leaned down to press a soft kiss to Jungkook's forehead, a stark contrast to the fiery passion that had just consumed them. "Good boy. You did so well, baby," Tae whispered, his voice soft, now filled with a tenderness that made Jungkook's heart swell. Jungkook's eyes fluttered open, meeting Tae's gaze, and he felt the warmth of their connection settle in his chest. The dominance, the intensity, the possessiveness, it was all part of the deep love they shared. A love that ran deeper than words could express. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that to you. I was just angry. I just wanted you to notice me," Jungkook said softly, his voice still weak from the pleasure. Tae's expression softened as he brushed a thumb over Jungkook's cheek, his touch gentle now. "I notice you always. I'll always be here for you, baby. Don't ever doubt that. You know I love you, right?" Tae said, his voice loving and sincere. Jungkook nodded, feeling the weight of Tae's words, the intensity of the connection settling into something warmer, more intimate. He closed his eyes, his body still humming with the aftermath of their shared passion, and allowed himself to relax in Tae's arms. As the night grew quieter, Tae pulled Jungkook closer, wrapping him securely in his embrace. "Get some sleep. I'm not going anywhere," Tae whispered against Jungkook's hair, his voice soft and reassuring. And this time Tae kept his promise. Jungkook nestled closer into Tae's chest, feeling the steady rise and fall of his breathing. His heart still pounded from the intensity of their moment. But now wrapped in Tae's strong arms, the lingering heat faded into something softer, more comforting. Tae's fingers gently combed through Jungkook's hair, and the soothing motion lulled him further into a state of peace. But despite the quiet, a small part of Jungkook still lingered in the emotions of earlier. How he'd felt neglected, invisible beneath Tae's endless workload. He shifted slightly, wanting to voice the thoughts swirling in his mind but hesitating. Unsure how to broach the topic without reigniting the fire between them. Tae seemed to sense the unease still clinging to Jungkook. He pressed a kiss to the top of Jungkook's head and asked softly, "What's on your mind, baby?" Jungkook's fingers toyed with the fabric of Tae's shirt, his voice hesitant. "You were so wrapped up in work earlier. It felt like you didn't care. I know you're busy, but I just wanted to be with you." Tae sighed deeply, his grip tightening around Jungkook as if grounding him. "I'm sorry, love. I didn't mean to make you feel that way. It's just been so hectic lately. But that's no excuse for ignoring you," Tae said, his voice laced with sincerity. Jungkook felt a rush of relief at the apology. But there was still something in Tae's words that tugged at him. "I know you have a lot going on, but I need to feel like I'm still important to you. Even when things get busy. I don't want to compete with your work for your attention," Jungkook said in low voice. Tae's heart clenched at Jungkook's vulnerability, his own guilt rising as he realized how much his behavior had affected him. He tilted Jungkook's chin up, meeting his gaze with a seriousness that made Jungkook's heart skip. "You are the most important thing to me. More than work. More than anything. I've been so caught up in everything that I've neglected you. And I'm so sorry about that. I'll do better, love. I promise," Tae said firmly, his voice leaving no room for doubt. Jungkook's eyes softened, his earlier frustrations melting away in the face of Tae's honesty. He could see the sincerity in his husband's eyes. The unspoken promise of a future where Jungkook didn't have to feel like second place to Tae's career. "I don't want to fight with you. I just miss you sometimes," Jungkook said, his voice barely a whisper. Tae's thumb brushed over Jungkook's chubby cheek. A soft, comforting touch. "I miss you too. I didn't realize how much I needed this. How much I needed you until tonight," Tae said, his voice thick with emotion. Jungkook's chest swelled with emotion. The love between them palpable in the silence that followed. He leaned up, pressing his lips softly against Tae's in a kiss that was far gentler than the ones they'd shared earlier. This kiss was filled with tenderness, with an unspoken promise of more moments like this. Moments where work and distractions wouldn't come between them. Tae kissed him back with equal tenderness, his hand cradling the back of Jungkook's head as if he were something precious, something to be cherished. When they finally pulled apart, Tae rested his forehead against Jungkook's, their breaths mingling in the quiet of the room. "I'll make it up to you. Starting tomorrow we'll take the whole day off. No work, no distractions. Just you and me," Tae whispered. Jungkook's heart fluttered at the thought, his lips curving into a small smile. "Really, Habi? You promise?" Tae smiled back, his eyes full of warmth and love. "Yes, my little love. I promise." With that they settled back into each other's arms. the weight of their earlier frustrations completely gone. Jungkook closed his eyes, content to let himself drift off, knowing that when morning came he'd wake up next to Tae with no barriers between them. As Tae held Jungkook close, his own eyes slowly drifting shut, he made a silent vow to himself to always prioritize a man he loved, to never let his work overshadow the one thing that truly mattered. Because in the end it wasn't the work that would hold him in the quiet hours of the night. It was Jungkook, the person who made everything else worth it. And I would never take that for granted again. The end. Thanks for watching, puffballs.